So, my first question for you is it has been 7 years since we had the pleasure of seeing you on the big screen. So, firstly, welcome back.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
second, what was it about the Air movie that made you say, okay, this is when I'm coming back?
Well, you know what? I think it came from God because it came out of nowhere. My part wasn't in the original script. Ben Affleck went down to meet with Michael to get his blessings, pretty much, to say, what do you want in this movie? Because I'm thinking I'm going to do this movie. And Michael said, you got to have Viola Davis play my mother, and you got to have a guy named Howard White in this movie because he was my bridge to Nike, pretty much. And they came to me, and I saw this part. I said, well, this ain't big enough. If I'm going to come back and do a movie, I got to have something. And Ben said, you can do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. Of course, I called my friend Howard White, and because I knew him, and that's what I've been doing all these years, making friendships, relationships. And he said, yeah, I heard about this script. And I said, well, I don't know, man, if it's enough in there. He said, well, Tuck, let's see. Howard put me on the phone with everybody that ever knew him in his life, from people when he was 5 years old riding bikes in Virginia on the street with as a kid, high school coaches, teachers, and all the way up into Charles Barkley, Fred, when he worked with him, and people like he worked with Moses Malone back in the day, who I met, before he passed. So he was so helpful, and to talk with him for hours and embody his spirit and get his dialect down, and it was just like a master class. He really gave me a master class because thank God he was here, that I can pull from him and all these stories about when Nike was starting and the friendships and how it all went down. And his life is amazing. We think about making his story. So I'm excited about that. His real life story. All of his story. So it came from God out of nowhere. And then I had, with all that information, I was able to write my scenes in there because I knew what was going on in that time, and his relationship with Michael being the bridge from Nike to Michael to the Jordan, and the creation of the Jordan brand. So
I have to ask you, you're in the Air movie. Do you remember your first pair of Jordans?
Yes, because people have been asking me. Now, it was those Jordans. Y'all might know the name of them. They came up like that. They kind of stuck out up like that. I don't know what year they was, but it might have been 88, 89, and I worked for them because I worked for my daddy's company, the Tucker Cleaning Service. I had to save my money under my mattress. I didn't have no bank account to pay for them because they was like $100 almost back then. So, now I'm a sneakerhead. I wasn't a sneakerhead because Jordan, they would send me shoes, or I would buy some shoes, and I didn't know what year. Now I'm like, what year was it? How old was I then? What did Michael do this year? What was in the NBA doing it that year? So I really cherish my shoes now. When I get some Jordans or any kind of shoes, if it's Pumas or Adidas, what year these was made and stuff.
Yeah, but right now we're only wearing Nikes. Only
right
wearing
now,
Air
it's all
Jordans.
about Air Ones. These are my best shoes, most comfortable shoes. I do my stand-up shows in these shoes, and they were a gift from a good friend. These shoes, so I cherish them.